can make pressure drop overnight, while long highway drives can heat the air and make it rise. That's why checking your tire pressure monthly and before long trips is the mark of a true responsible driver. But there's more. Some newer cars let you view each tire's exact PSI on the dashboard. If yours does, use it wisely. A tire that's consistently losing pressure might have a slow leak or a damaged valve stem. Catch it early, and you'll avoid a blowout or expensive tire damage later. And if your TPM's light flashes and then stays on, it's not just low air. It could mean one of the sensors is failing, something a tire shop can easily fix. I'll never forget a story from a customer years ago. She told me her TPM's light had been coming on and off for weeks, but she ignored it. One day, on the freeway, that same tire burst. Fortunately, she managed to pull over safely. When we inspected it later, the inside wall was completely shredded from driving underinflated for too long. She shook her head and said, "If I just listened to that light, I wouldn't have lost." The tire. That's the lesson. Your car is constantly talking to you, not with words, but with signals, sounds, and lights. The drivers who listen, who take the time to learn what those warnings mean, are the ones who stay safest and save the most. So the next time that small yellow symbol appears, don't dismiss it as another nuisance. See it for what it is. A quiet warning from a machine that's always looking out for you. Part 1. The Shift Lock Override. A hidden lifeline when everything fails. Let's start with one of the most useful hidden features that almost no one knows about until disaster strikes. Imagine this. It's a quiet morning. You're ready to head to work. You get in, press the start button, and nothing happens. No click, no hum, just silence. The battery is completely dead. You glance up and realize you're parked nose first against the wall in your garage. You can't even push the car out. The tow truck finally arrives, but the driver frowns. "I can't move it," he says. "It's locked in park." In that moment, panic sets in. The car won't start. The transmission is stuck and you're trapped. But what most drivers don't realize is that the engineers who designed your vehicle already planned for this exact situation. Hidden right next to your gear shifter is a small feature called the Shift Lock Override. Your mechanical emergency exit when the electronics go dark. Look closely near the base of your shifter and you'll find a tiny square cap or narrow slot, sometimes labeled Shift Lock. Pop it open gently with your car key, and underneath there's a small button. Push it down, and you'll feel a satisfying click. That's the sound of freedom. With your foot on the brake, move your shifter out of park and into neutral. Suddenly, your car, once a helpless chunk of metal, can roll freely. The tow truck driver can now move it without dragging the tires or using special dollies, saving you time, money, and stress. This one little trick is like knowing a secret handshake with your car. It's a simple mechanical backup built by people who understood that batteries die and systems fail, but you still need control. Try it once when you're safely parked at home. Lift the cover, press the button, shift to neutral, then put it back. Once you've done it, you'll never forget it. Because the day you find yourself stranded, you'll already know the solution. And that's the difference between panic and confidence behind the wheel. Part 2. The global window trick, cooling your car before you even touch it. Now let's move from emergency rescue to comfort. A feature that turns unbearable summer heat into a breeze of fresh air, quite literally. Picture this. It's mid-July, the sun is blazing, and your car has been sitting in the parking lot for hours. You open the door, and a wave of suffocating heat hits your face. The steering wheel burns your palms. The seats feel like fire, and the air inside is thick and heavy. Most drivers just sigh, start the engine and wait. But the smarter ones, the ones who know their car's secrets, have already cooled things down before they even get close. Here's how. Your key fob isn't just for unlocking doors. It's a remote control for one of the cleverest comfort features most people never use. Global window control. Stand a few steps from your car and press the unlock button once. Then press and hold it. After a second or two, you'll see the magic happen. All four windows begin to roll down automatically, and if you have a sunroof, it'll slide open too. That trapped hot air rushes out in seconds, lowering the cabin temperature before you ever open the door. By the time you get in, it already feels comfortable. The best part? It works in reverse too. Let's say you've just parked and walked away when you realize you left a window slightly open. No need to go back. Just press and hold the lock button on your key fob. The car will seal itself shut. Windows up, sunroof closed, everything secure. It's quick, it's satisfying, and it's one of those features you'll start using every single day once you discover it. If you try it and it doesn't work right away, don't worry. Many car brands keep this feature turned off by default. Dive into your infotainment system under Vehicle Settings or Convenience, and you'll probably find it waiting for you. Activate it once, and you'll never go back to suffering through a superheated cabin again. It's such a simple, elegant solution, but it's also a perfect example of how engineers think ahead. They know how it feels to open a scorching car door in August, and they built a fix for it that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. You just needed to know how to unlock it. Part 3. The hidden metal key and the Dead-Fob start. Outsmarting modern tech. Now let's talk about another hidden feature that has saved countless drivers from that helpless, sinking feeling. The moment when your high-tech key fob suddenly dies. You're standing in the parking lot, arms full of groceries, pressing the unlock button again and again. Nothing happens. The lights don't flash. The doors stay locked, and you can almost hear your car mocking you in silence. But don't worry, your car isn't holding you hostage. What most people don't realize is that inside almost every modern key fob lies a secret, old-fashioned backup. Slide the small latch on the side or back of your key fob, and a metal key blade pops out. The same kind of physical key your parents used years ago. Now, look closely at your driver's door handle. You might not see any visible keyhole, but it's there, cleverly hidden for design and aerodynamics. Gently insert the metal key into the tiny slot under the handle or pry off the small plastic cap to reveal the hidden cylinder. Turn it and you're in. But then comes the next problem. Your car has a push-button start system and the key fob. Battery is dead. How do you start it now? Here's the trick only experienced drivers know. Every car has a special RFID emergency start spot, usually marked with a small key symbol. It might be near the steering column, inside the cup holder, or even next to the start button itself. Place your dead fob against that spot, press the brake, and hit start. The car instantly recognizes the signal from the fob's passive chip. No battery required. And the engine roars to life. This system was designed so that even if your fob dies, you'll never be stranded. Try it once now while your key still works, just to see where your car's reader is. That quick test could save you hours of frustration one day. And here's a bonus tip. Tape a spare coin battery inside your glove box. It costs less than $1, but can rescue you from that nothing happens moment faster than any tow truck ever could. Part 4. The Wiper Service Mode. Protecting your car from winter damage if you live in a place where winter hits hard. You know the struggle. Frozen wipers stuck to the windshield, blades cracking in the cold, or arms scraping across ice and snow. But your car already has a feature designed to prevent all of that, and it's called Wiper Service Mode. Here's how it works. When you turn off your car, simply flick the wiper stalk upward within a few seconds of shutting down the ignition. The wipers will move to a vertical position and stop there, sitting up high on the windshield where you can safely lift them away from the glass. Now you can replace blades, clean underneath, or de-ice without damaging the motor or scratching the hood. Most drivers never realize this function exists, yet it can save you hundreds of dollars in repair costs. I learned about it years ago from a mechanic in Michigan who told me he sees dozens of cars every winter with burned out wiper motors, all because people tried to force frozen blades loose while they were still parked at the base of the windshield. Wiper service mode eliminates that risk completely. And here's the smart part. It also helps during car washes or when you're storing your vehicle for long periods. By leaving the blades lifted, you reduce tension on the rubber and prevent warping. Simple, practical, and already built into your car. No tools, no cost. Just knowledge. If you're not sure whether your car has it, look it up in your manual or test it yourself the next time you park. Once you use it, you'll never scrape ice off a frozen wiper again. Part 5: The Dimmer Wheel's Hidden Clicks. Two modes most drivers miss. You've seen it 1,000 times. That little wheel or slider near your dashboard lights. You probably think it's only for adjusting brightness at night. But hidden inside that small control are two secret clicks that can transform how you use your car at night. One for convenience and one for stealth. Here's the first. Roll the wheel slowly up to its brightest setting. When you push just a little further, you'll feel or hear a click. That click isn't an accident. It's your manual cabin light override. All the interior lights, the dome, footwell, and map lights, switch on at once, flooding your cabin with light. Perfect for when you've dropped something under the seat, or need to find a phone or wallet at night without fumbling for tiny buttons overhead. It's one of those "why didn't I know this sooner" moments that every driver has the first time they try it. Now, roll the dimmer in the opposite direction all the way down. Push past the lowest setting, and you'll feel another click. This activates dark mode, disabling all courtesy lights completely. That means no blinding dome light when you open the door at night. It's ideal for stealth parking, for camping trips where you don't want to wake others, or when you're in a dim area and don't want to announce your arrival. A truck driver once told me this feature saved his eyes during long-haul night drives. He said he used to get headaches from cabin glare until he found that hidden click. It's the simplest thing, he told me, but once you use it, you can't go back. That's the beauty of these hidden car features. They're not futuristic technology. They're quiet, clever solutions to real-world problems, built by people who've spent decades behind the wheel, just like you. So next time you drive at night, give that dimmer wheel a slow twist and see for yourself what your car's been keeping secret all along. Part 6: The Fuel Door Arrow. The tiny triangle that saves you every time. Let's shift gears from the complex to something beautifully simple. A feature so tiny you've probably looked at it 100 times without ever realizing what it does. You know, that little fuel pump icon on your dashboard, the one that lights up when you're running low on gas. Take a closer look. Right beside it, there's a small arrow. Sometimes it points left, sometimes right. That's not decoration. That tiny triangle tells you exactly which side of your car your fuel door is on. Now, that might sound trivial, but think about how many times you've pulled into a gas station with a rental car, a new car, or even your spouse's car, and had to lean out the window or get out to check where the fuel cap is. With that tiny arrow, you'll never have to guess again. It's one of those details you can't unsee once you know it, and it quietly saves you time and embarrassment every single time you fill up. What's fascinating is that this little symbol became standard after the rise of self-service gas stations and the explosion of the rental car industry in the late 20th century. As drivers began switching between different cars more often, manufacturers realized this small zero-cost feature could eliminate a surprisingly common frustration. That's what I love about great automotive design. It's the little things that make the biggest difference. So the next time you're in a rental or you switch vehicles, don't second-guess yourself. Just glance at that arrow, pull up confidently, and fuel up like a pro. Because real car knowledge isn't just about engines and horsepower. It's about knowing the quiet, thoughtful design choices that make every drive smoother. Part 7: the reverse tilt mirrors. Precision parking without the stress. Now let's talk about a hidden feature that can save your wheels, literally. If you've ever heard that painful grinding sound of your rims scraping against the curb, while parallel parking, you know exactly what I mean. It's one of those moments that makes your heart sink. But the good news is, many cars have a built-in system designed to prevent that. And hardly anyone uses it. It's called reverse tilt mirrors. Here's how it works. Sit in your driver's seat and look at the little switch that adjusts your side mirrors. The one that toggles between L and R. Select the side you want, usually R for the passenger mirror. Then shift your car into reverse. Watch carefully. The mirror tilts downward automatically, giving you a clear view of the curb and your rear wheel. No more guessing distances. No more leaning over the steering wheel to look. When you shift back into drive, the mirror returns to its normal position. It's a small adjustment that makes a huge difference in real-world driving. And here's something even better. In many cars, you can customize how far the mirror tilts and then save it to your seat memory settings. That means your car remembers your preferred view every time you reverse. Once you set it up, parking becomes faster, easier, and infinitely safer, especially in tight city spaces or when backing into a garage. I still remember teaching this trick to a friend who had just bought a luxury SUV. He'd been terrified of parallel parking downtown. I showed him how to set his reverse tilt, and the next week he called to say, "It's like the car parks itself now." That's the beauty of learning what your vehicle can already do. It gives you confidence, control, and a little extra pride every time you slide into a perfect parking spot. Part 8. The Intermittent Wiper Control. Mastering rain like a pro. There's something oddly peaceful about driving in the rain until your wipers start squeaking, dragging, or swiping too fast for a light drizzle. Most drivers just flick between low and high and call it a day. But your car actually gives you far more precise control than that. Hidden right there on your wiper stalk is a small rotating ring or slider. Your intermittent wiper adjustment. Here's how it works. When your wipers are in intermittent mode, turning that ring changes the delay between each swipe. Turn it up, and the wipers move more frequently for heavy rain. Turn it down, and the delay stretches for a gentle drizzle or mist. This feature lets you match your wipers perfectly to the weather, so you can see clearly, without that annoying squeal of rubber scraping across a dry windshield. And if your car has rain-sensing wipers, that same control adjusts the system's sensitivity. If the automatic mode wipes too often, dial it back. If it's not wiping fast enough, increase the sensitivity. It's such a small thing, but it can transform your comfort and focus in bad weather. A professional driving instructor once told me that the best drivers treat wipers the same way pilots treat instruments. They adjust, fine-tune, and anticipate. Because clear vision means confidence, and when you start using that little ring on your wiper stalk with intention, you'll notice it instantly. The drive feels calmer, smoother, and safer. Next time the rain starts to fall, take control instead of letting the car guess for you. Twist that ring. Find the rhythm that matches the weather, and drive like someone who's truly in tune with their machine. Part 9. The Rear Fog Light. A bright secret that can save lives now. Let's move from comfort to safety, because this next hidden feature can make the difference between being seen and being invisible in dangerous driving conditions. It's something that many cars, especially European models, quietly include, but few drivers ever use correctly. It's called the rear fog light, and it's far more powerful than most people realize. Imagine you're driving on a cold morning through thick fog, or maybe a sudden downpour has turned visibility into a gray wall. You can barely see the tail lights of the car ahead, and you know the driver behind you is struggling to see you. This is exactly when the rear fog light was designed to shine. Literally. It's an extra bright red light, far more intense than your regular taillights, positioned low on your rear bumper. When used properly, it cuts through fog, rain, and snow, making your car visible from hundreds of feet away. But here's where so many drivers go wrong. They use it when they shouldn't. In clear weather, those ultra-bright rear fogs can actually blind and confuse the drivers behind you, making them think you're braking constantly. It's distracting, dangerous, and illegal in many places. The rule of thumb is simple. If you can clearly see the tail lights of the car in front of you, turn your rear fog light off. It's not a style choice or an extra brake light. It's an emergency visibility tool, and it should be treated as one. Next time you're on a foggy highway or in a blizzard, look for a button on your dashboard or light control stalk with a small amber icon showing a lamp with horizontal lines. That's your rear fog. Use it wisely, and you'll not only protect yourself but everyone driving around you. Because real car control isn't just about what you can see. It's about making sure others can see you. Part 10. The emergency headrest trick. Escape when seconds count. Some hidden features are nice conveniences, but this one could save your life. It's the kind of knowledge you hope you never need. But if you ever do, you'll thank yourself for remembering it. It's the headrest escape method, and it's one of the most ingenious safety designs hidden in plain sight inside every car. Here's the scenario. You're in an accident, and your car ends up in a position where the doors are jammed shut. Or worse, you've driven into water, and the electrical systems fail. The power windows won't open, the doors won't budge, and every second counts. What do? The answer's right behind your head. Grab your headrest and pull it all the way up. At the base of each metal post, there's a small release button. Press it, and the headrest slides completely free. Those metal posts are hardened steel, perfectly sized to fit into the corner of your side window. Aim for one of the lower corners, not the center. That's where the glass is most rigid. Strike hard once or twice, and the tempered side glass will shatter instantly into small, harmless pieces. You can then push out the remaining shards and escape. It sounds dramatic, but this technique is real, tested, and taught to rescue professionals around the world. The front windshield is laminated and won't break this way, but the side windows are designed to shatter under focused impact. That's how emergency crews get people out fast. I first heard about this from a firefighter who said, every driver should practice pulling out their headrest once, just once, because when panic hits, your hands remember what your brain forgets. He was right. It takes 5 seconds to test it, and you'll never forget how it feels. It's one of those rare car features that turns from passive protection to active survival. Quiet, simple, and life-saving. Part 11. The adjustable seatbelt anchor, comfort and safety in one simple move. Let's step back from emergencies and focus on something that affects you every single time you drive. Your seatbelt. We all know it's the single most important safety feature in the car. But what many drivers don't realize is that if it's not adjusted correctly, it can actually cause discomfort and even injury in a crash. That's why most cars include a hidden but essential feature, right on the B-pillar, the adjustable shoulder belt anchor. If you've ever felt the belt cutting across your neck or slipping off your shoulder, this is the fix you've been missing. Look at the spot where the upper part of your seatbelt connects to the car frame, right next to your shoulder. You'll usually see a small button or latch. Press it, and the entire belt mount can slide up or down. Set it so the belt crosses the middle of your collarbone. Flat across your chest. Never across your neck. That's the safest and most comfortable position. It only takes a second to adjust, but it makes a world of difference. A properly fitted seatbelt spreads crash forces evenly across your chest and hips, keeping your head and neck protected. A poorly adjusted belt can cause whiplash, facial injuries, or let you lurch forward too far in a collision. And here's something most people overlook. When you drive different cars, you should readjust it every time. I once showed this to a friend who's only 5 feet tall and had spent years driving with the belt rubbing against her neck. When she realized she could lower the anchor, she just sat there laughing. You mean I could have done this all along? That's exactly the point. So many of these features are right in front of us. We just need to know they're there. So before your next drive, take 5 seconds to check your belt height. It's a small move that adds both comfort and confidence, and it might be the simplest safety improvement you'll ever make. Part 12. The Glove Box Cooler. A hidden luxury for hot days. Sometimes the cleverest. Features in a car aren't about power or performance. They're about small moments of comfort that make long drives better. One of those underrated luxuries is hiding right inside your glove box. It's called the Glove Box Cooler, and once you use it, you'll wonder how you ever went without it. Open your glove box and look carefully inside. Often on the top or back wall, you'll find a small round vent or slider. That little opening connects directly to your car's air conditioning system. When you turn the ache on and open that vent, cold air flows into the glove compartment, turning it into a miniature fridge. It's not designed to freeze anything, but it keeps water bottles, chocolate, or medication cool on long, hot drives. It's a small detail, but one that shows how deeply engineers think about your comfort. I first discovered this feature during a cross-country road trip through Nevada. Temperatures outside were pushing 100 degrees, and I remember pulling an ice-cold bottle of water from my glove box after hours of driving. I just sat there, amazed. Not at the technology, but at the thoughtfulness behind it. This isn't a feature you show off. It's one you quietly appreciate when you need it most. And here's a tip. If your glove box cooler has a small dial or slider, you can control how much cold air goes in. Just remember to close it in winter. Otherwise, you'll be feeding cold air into a place that doesn't need it. It's such a simple comfort, but one that turns an ordinary car into a more livable space, especially on those long summer journeys. Part 13. The hidden storage compartments, where practicality meets design. Now let's talk about something every driver loves. Storage space. But not the obvious kind like your glove box or center console. I'm talking about the hidden compartments that designers quietly sneak into your car to make your life easier and your cabin cleaner. Start by looking under the front seats. Many cars have small pull-out drawers. Perfect for storing your registration papers, a flashlight, or an emergency tool kit. These drawers are felt-lined, so items don't rattle while you drive. Move to the second row, lift up the floor mats, and you might find something even better. In-floor storage bins with sturdy covers. They're great for jumper cables, a toe strap, or even a pair of shoes if you're heading to the gym. In the trunk, the magic continues. Lift the main floor panel, and besides the spare tire, you'll often find foam organizers with cutouts for tools and space for extras, oil, washer fluid, or cleaning supplies. Some SUVs even hide secret compartments behind side panels or within the tailgate itself. These spots are perfect for keeping valuable or messy items secure and out of sight. I once helped a friend clean out his SUV before selling it. He lifted the cargo mat for the first time in years and found a small compartment he'd never seen, complete with an unused first aid kit from the factory. He looked at me and said, "I've owned this car for 8 years. How did I not know this was here?" That's the beauty of thoughtful design. It's always there for you, whether you notice it or not. Spend 10 minutes exploring your own car with this mindset. Check under, behind, and beneath. You'll almost certainly find something new. A hidden drawer, a storage hook, maybe even a small cavity under the rear seats. These small touches turn your car from a machine into a space that truly fits your lifestyle. Part 14. The child safety locks and window locks. Peace of mind for every parent. Some hidden features aren't glamorous, but they're priceless when it comes to protecting what matters most, your family. Every parent knows that moment of panic when a curious child starts pressing buttons or pulling on handles in the back seat. That's why every car is equipped with child safety locks and window locks. Small, mechanical heroes that often go unnoticed. Open your rear door and look at the edge where it latches. You'll see a tiny switch or lever. Flip it and you've just activated the child lock. Now the door can't be opened from the inside, only from the outside. It's a simple mechanism, but it prevents dangerous mistakes, like a child opening the door while the car is moving or parked on a slope. Up front, on the driver's door, you'll find another powerful little button, the window lock. Press it, and only you can control the windows. No more kids accidentally lowering the glass in the rain or trapping their fingers. It's one of those small controls that give parents real peace of mind. And yet, so many forget to use it. I once interviewed a veteran driving instructor who said he always made sure parents understood these two features before leaving his class. You'd be surprised, he told me. Parents will spend hours choosing a car for safety ratings and never flip the child lock once. But that switch, that's the one that keeps kids safe in everyday life. So if you're driving with family, check those locks right now. Teach older kids why they exist, not to limit them, but to protect them. Because confidence behind the wheel doesn't just come from horsepower or fancy features. It comes from knowing your passengers are safe no matter what happens. Part 15, the Valet mode and trunk pass-through lock. Protecting your privacy and your belongings. There's a quiet kind of confidence that comes with knowing your car protects not just you, but also what's inside it. And this next hidden feature is all about that. It's called Valet mode. And if you've ever handed your keys to a parking attendant, a car, wash worker, or even a curious friend, it might just become your new favorite safeguard. Here's how it works. Inside your infotainment menu, there's often a setting called Valet mode or privacy mode. Once activated, it locks the glove box and trunk access, disables personal data on your infotainment system, and limits certain functions, all protected by a PIN code. Only you know. That means even if someone has your keys, they can't browse your home address, your phone, contacts, or your navigation history. They can move the car, but your world stays private. But the protection doesn't stop there. Many sedans and coupes have a locking trunk pass through, a small panel behind the rear, armrest that lets you access the trunk from the cabin. Most drivers never notice that there's a key slot hidden there. Lock it once, and even if someone gets inside your car, they can't reach into the trunk. It's a smart, mechanical layer of security that goes hand in hand with Valet mode. I remember a colleague telling me about the first time he used this feature while traveling. He was staying at a hotel with valet parking, and he had important documents in the trunk. He locked the pass-through, enabled valet mode, and handed over the keys. For the first time, he said, I didn't have that uneasy feeling watching someone else drive my car. That's what knowledge gives you. Not paranoia, but peace of mind. Your car was designed not only to perform, but to protect. Take a few minutes tonight to find these settings, test them, and lock that pass-through. Once you know how to use them, you'll never feel anxious handing over your keys again. Part 16. The Capless fuel system and emergency funnels. Clean, quick, and foolproof. Let's move to something that sounds small, but solves a problem almost every driver has faced. Messy, awkward refueling. Most modern vehicles now use a capless fuel system, and if you've ever wondered why, there's no screw-on gas cap anymore. Here's the reason. It's designed to make refueling faster, cleaner, and safer. The capless system seals itself automatically, preventing dirt or vapors from escaping, and saving you from that occasional check engine light caused by a loose fuel cap. Just insert the nozzle, pump your gas, and pull it out. The spring-loaded flap closes perfectly every time. No more twisting, no more forgetting. But there's a hidden detail that very few drivers know about. The emergency fuel funnel. If you ever run out of gas and need to use a jerry can, you'll find that the flap won't open with a regular plastic nozzle. That's where the small white funnel comes in. It's stored near your spare tire or jack kit in the trunk. Insert it into the filler neck, and it opens the flap so you can pour fuel safely. Without it, the gas can spill or the nozzle might get stuck. I learned this lesson the hard way once, stranded on the side of a rural highway. The gas can nozzle wouldn't fit, and I had no idea why. Then a tow driver showed me the hidden funnel in the trunk toolkit. I used it, refueled, in minutes, and drove away with a new respect for the engineers who thought ahead for moments like that. And here's a quick pro tip. While you're checking your fuel filler, look at the tire pressure label on your driver's door jamb. That's where you'll find the real recommended PSI, not the number printed on the tire itself. The number on the sidewall is the maximum, not the ideal. Keep those pressures correct, and you'll drive safer, save fuel, and extend the life of your tires, all from one small label most people ignore. Part 17. The tow hook eye. A hidden lifeline when you're stuck. Every driver eventually faces that dreaded moment. A flat tire on a dirt shoulder, or worse, getting stuck in mud, gravel, or snow. You call for help. The tow truck arrives, and before you know it, someone's wrapping a steel cable around your suspension arm or bumper bracket. You cringe because you know that can cause serious damage. But there's a better way, and your car already has the answer built in. The tow hook eye. If you've ever noticed a small square plastic cover on your front or rear bumper, that's the access point. Pop it off gently with your key or a screwdriver, and inside you'll find a threaded metal socket. In your trunk, usually next to the jack or tire kit, there's a heavy steel hook with a threaded end. That's the tow eye. Screw it into the socket until it's snug, and now you have a solid, frame-connected anchor point designed specifically for towing or winching. It's the safe, manufacturer-approved way to pull or recover your car without bending anything important. I once saw this feature save a fellow driver's day during a snowstorm. His car was stuck halfway into a ditch, and the rescue driver almost hooked the cable around his lower control arm, which could have cost thousands to repair. I stopped him, showed him the small panel on the bumper, screwed in the tow eye, and within minutes the car was safely pulled out without a scratch. The owner couldn't believe that tool had been sitting unused in his trunk the whole time. It's a reminder that your car was built by people who've seen every worst-case scenario and designed for it. So take 5 minutes to locate that cover and the tow hook in your own vehicle. Try screwing it in once, because when trouble hits, knowing where it is can mean the difference between a clean recovery and a very expensive mistake. Part 18. The Auto Hold and Hill Start Assist. The hidden helpers that keep you steady. Every driver has faced that nerve-wracking moment at a red light on a steep hill. One foot on the brake, the other ready on the gas, hoping you don't roll backward into the car. Behind you, it's one of those small stress points that can make driving feel harder than it should. But modern cars already have a quiet solution built right in, and most people don't even know it exists. It's called Auto Hold, often paired with Hill Start Assist. Two small systems that works together to make every uphill stop effortless. Here's how it works. When you come to a complete stop, keep your foot on the brake for a moment and then release it. You'll see a small light appear on the dashboard, usually an A inside a circle, or the words Auto Hold. Now you can take your foot off the brake entirely, and the car stays perfectly still, even on an incline. The system holds the brakes for you until you touch the accelerator, then releases smoothly so you can move forward without rolling an inch. It's not just a comfort feature, it's a confidence feature, especially in heavy traffic, on mountain roads, or when you're towing. And if your car doesn't have auto hold, chances are it still has Hill Start Assist, a simpler version that holds the brakes for 2 or 3 seconds after you lift your foot, giving you enough time to press the gas and move forward without slipping back. I remember driving through San Francisco years ago, where the streets seemed to defy gravity. The first time I used auto hold on one of those brutal hills, it felt like magic. No tension, no stress, no smell of burning clutch. Just smooth, controlled driving. Once you start using it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. To activate it, look for a button labeled Auto Hold near your gear selector or parking brake switch. If you see it, press it once and try it at your next stoplight. It's a small discovery that can make every drive feel calmer, safer, and a lot more refined. Part 19. The cabin air recirculation and hidden filter. Breathing cleaner, driving, smarter. We often think of car performance in terms of horsepower and torque, but there's another kind of power that matters just as much: the air you breathe inside your cabin. That's where the recirculation button and the hidden cabin air filter come into play. 2. Features that quietly protect your health and your car's comfort. Let's start with that little button, the one that shows a curved arrow looping inside a car symbol. When you press it, the air conditioning stops pulling air from outside and instead recirculates the air already inside your cabin. On hot days, it helps your car cool faster because it's re-chilling air that's already been cooled. But here's where it really shines: in heavy traffic or dusty conditions. Ever been stuck behind a smoky truck or caught in city smog? Hit that button, and you're instantly sealing your cabin off from most of those outside pollutants and odors. But the unsung hero of this system is the cabin air filter, often hidden behind your glove box or beneath the hood. It's the reason your car doesn't smell like exhaust when driving behind an old bus. Yet, most people never change it. Over time, it clogs with dust, pollen, and debris, making your ACK weaker and your air quality worse. Replacing it once or twice a year is one of the simplest DIY jobs you can do, and it can transform how your car feels inside. I once had a friend complain that his car smelled musty every time he turned on the air. When I helped him pull out his cabin filter, it looked like a bird's nest. Leaves, hair, dirt, even a few feathers. We replaced it in 5 minutes, and the difference was immediate. The next time you're parked, press that recirculation button and listen closely to your AC. It should sound smoother, quieter, and cooler. And while you're at it, check your owner's manual for that filter's location. Sometimes the biggest improvements to your driving experience come not from horsepower, but from fresh air. Part 20. The tire pressure monitoring system. Your car's built-in guardian angel view. Things can ruin a drive faster than a flat tire. But long before that happens, your car is already trying to warn you. Hidden inside each wheel is a small sensor constantly measuring the air pressure, sending that data straight to your dashboard. It's part of the Tire Pressure Monitoring System, or TPMs. And understanding it can save you fuel, extend tire life, and prevent accidents before they happen. When that little yellow light appears, the one that looks like a horseshoe with an exclamation point, it's not just a minor alert. It's your car telling you that one of your tires has lost significant pressure, usually 10% or more below the recommended level. Even if the tires still look fine, that warning means something's off. And here's the catch: cold weather can make pressure drop overnight, while long highway drives can heat the air and make it rise. That's why checking your tire pressure monthly and before long trips is the mark of a true responsible driver. But there's more. Some newer cars let you view each tire's exact PSI on the dashboard. If yours does, use it wisely. A tire that's consistently losing pressure might have a slow leak or a damaged valve stem. Catch it early, and you'll avoid a blowout or expensive tire damage later. And if your TPM's light flashes and then stays on, it's not just low air. It could mean one of the sensors is failing, something a tire shop can easily fix. I'll never forget a story from a customer years ago. She told me her TPM's light had been coming on and off for weeks, but she ignored it. One day, on the freeway, that same tire burst. Fortunately, she managed to pull over safely. When we inspected it later, the inside wall was completely shredded from driving underinflated for too long. She shook her head and said, "If I just listened to that light, I wouldn't have lost." The tire. That's the lesson. Your car is constantly talking to you, not with words, but with signals, sounds, and lights. The drivers who listen, who take the time to learn what those warnings mean, are the ones who stay safest and save the most. So the next time that small yellow symbol appears, don't dismiss it as another nuisance. See it for what it is: A quiet warning from a machine that's always looking out for you, closing the secrets beneath your steering wheel. What we've explored today isn't just a list of hidden car tricks. It's proof that your car knows more than you think. Every tiny detail, from the shift lock override to the rear fog light or the glove box cooler, was designed by engineers who imagined every real-world moment you'd face, from breakdowns to blazing summers, and built quiet solutions right into your machine. And once you discover these things, something changes. You stop driving on autopilot. You start understanding your car, how it thinks, how it protects you, how it makes your life easier when you know where to look. That's when driving becomes more than a routine. It becomes a skill. So after this video, take 5 minutes, sit in your car, try one of these hidden features yourself. The global window trick, the auto hold button, or the dimmer light click. Feel that sense of control and confidence that comes from knowing your vehicle inside and out. Because the most powerful part of your car isn't under the hood. It's your awareness behind the wheel. If this video taught you something new, subscribe to Mechanical Wonders. Because every time you learn one of your car's secrets, you don't just drive better, you drive smarter.